Hi there, everyone. How are you doing? Today's Monday. I'm not there, but you're still gonna learn about function, okay? Anyway, so before we start, make sure you have this paper and this paper, this foldable here, okay? Most of the items are already prepared for you, but there are some items that you need to write down on the back of this paper, okay? Make sure you complete them all, and so when I come back, I will see it to give you a stamp or grade it, okay? Let's start now. Make sure you copy everything you see on the board. If you need more space or more paper, then get another sheet of paper and that should be all right, okay? Anyway, so at this time we have learned what is function, okay? So today our target is to learn function, how to represent and identify function notation, evaluating function, and operation on function, okay? So let's rewrite the relation given its mapping diagram as scatter plot. So looking at this mapping, the -1 goes to -2, 1 goes to -1, and 0, 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 2. Is this a function? The answer is the relation also a function? It's not a function. Why is not a function? Several reasons. The 1 goes to -1 and to 0. That's not good. The x is repeating there. Or if we plot the points, -1, -2 is right here. 1, -1 right here. And 1, 0 is right there. 2, 2, 3, 2. That's not 3, 2. Using the vertical line test, we know that a vertical line will cross more than 2 points here. That makes it not a function. Number 2. Rewrite the relation given a scatter plot as a mapping type. Sorry, we have to put in a scatter plot. Means say we have to put in the points. So this will be -1, -2, 1, -1, 1, 0, 2, 2, and 3, 2. You can see again that the x value right here is repeating. Okay, that's why it's not going to be a function. Let's look at the second one. The points here are, so the points are -2, 0, -2, -3, -1, 1, 0, -2, and 1, 1. So you can tell already that this one is not a function because it's -2. The -2 here is repeating. So I know that this is not a function. Writing it in the mapping diagram, I can write here that -2 is the smallest number. I do not have to repeat it. You just have to write it only once. -1, 0, 1. If you notice, the order is from least to greatest. But for the y value here, you're going to start with -3, -2, 0, 1. And we know that the -2 is going to 0. The -2 is also going to -3. That's why you can tell that -2 is cheating. He is dating two numbers, -3 and 0. The -1 goes to 1. The 0 goes to -2, and the 1 goes to 1 there. X and Y. Easy, right? Make sure you copy them all. This will be needed. These are needed as a review and a good way to learn more about representing function. You can skip this portion. You don't have to do this one. So now let's go now to this foldable, okay? Evaluating function, graphs of function, adding function, subtracting function. This covers everything about functions. So first, in evaluate, this is the one that has to be inside of your foldable. We will go all this item 1 to 8. Evaluating function. Given f of x is equal to -2x plus 7, find f of 3. By the way, we read this one as f of 3. Okay? Not f parenthesis 3 or f times 3, f of 3. Okay? The meaning of that one, that the value of x there is equal to 3. So you need to plug in the 3 to the function negative 2 times 3 plus 7. What's negative 2 times 3? It's negative 6 plus 7. That will give you 1. So therefore, f of 3 is equal to 1. Okay? Easy. But this time, with the function f of x 3x plus 8, find the value of x so that f of x equals negative 7. So f of x equal to negative 7. So I'm going to plug in negative 7 right there to the f of x. So this will be written now as negative 7, 3x plus 8, minus 8, cross it out, negative 15 is equal to 3x, divide by 3. So therefore, the value of x is negative 5. Easy, right? Now, in graphing function, we can evaluate the function by looking for the value of x on the graph, or look for the f of x on the graph and see where it matches. What do I mean by that one? Look at this one. Find f of 2. So therefore, the value of x here is 2. So if this is the f of x function here, this line here, this is the f of x, the value of x there is 2. Look for the 2 on the x-axis. This is the x-axis. The 2 is right here. Do you agree? That's 2 there. X equals 2 there. Find the line that crossed the f of x. This is a 2. It's going that direction. What is that green point? That green point is 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. So therefore, f of 2 is equal to 3. That means when you plug in x equals 2, the value of y is 3. That's why the point there is 2, 3, which is that green point over there. Next, f of x equal to negative 1. So therefore, this time, the function negative 1 is on the linear of f of x is y. So on the y-axis, this is the negative 1, this pink point here. Let's look for the x. You can see that the graph crossed at this point, on this yellow point. That yellow point there is negative 2, negative 1. If you notice that the value of x is negative 2, the value of y is negative 1, which stated right here that the f of x or the y is equal to negative 1. So therefore, find x, the value of x there is negative 2. Adding function. This time is the operation of function. In operation of function, there are 4. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay, we will focus on adding, subtracting for now. We will do some with division and multiplication later on. Okay. Given the linear function f of x is 5x minus 1 and g of x negative 2x plus 9, so the functions are being defined. Find h of x wherein the sum of the f of x and g of x. So basically, for you to find the h of x, you have to add f and g of x. So h of x is f of x plus g of x. What is f of x? f of x is 5x minus 1 plus g of x is negative 2x plus 9. We can combine the like terms here. What's 5x minus 2x? That will give you 3x. And negative 1 plus 9 will give you positive 8. So therefore, the new function or the sum of the function when you add f of x and g of x is 3x plus 8. Number 6, given the linear function f of x equal to negative 4x minus 3 and g of x negative 2x plus 10, find h of x which is equal to f of x plus g of x. So it's the same thing. So you're going to add them, negative 4x minus 3 plus negative 2x plus 10. So you're going to combine the like terms. These two here are like terms, so that will give you negative 6x plus 7, and that's your h of x. For subtracting, so it's pretty much the same thing, we just have to subtract them instead of adding. So f minus g of x, the only key here that you have to remember, minus is slightly different than adding, because aside from subtracting, you have to distribute the negative sign. What do I mean by that one? F of x is 9x plus 4 minus parenthesis 3x minus 3. Why? What happened when you don't put the parenthesis there? If you don't put the parenthesis there, it might read like this. and you know your answer will be different because the 3x there will be negative and the 3 here will remain negative also, which is supposed to be positive. Why it has to be positive? Because if I have the parentheses there, if I distribute this imaginary negative 1 there, look what will happen. The negative 1 will be multiplied to the 3x, which becomes negative 3x, and the negative 1 will be multiplied to negative 3 as part of the distributive property will be plus 3. If you don't put the parentheses there and you fail to multiply negative 1 by negative 3, your answer, your difference will be different from the correct answer. So 9x minus 3x is 6x, and 4 plus 3 will be 7. And that's your j of x. For number 8, do the same thing, you just have to subtract. J of x is equal to f of x is negative 7x minus 7 minus parenthesis of the 2x minus 2. Distribute the negative 1 or the negative parenthesis there. That will give you negative 7x minus 7 minus 2x plus 2. So therefore, the new j of x is negative 9x minus 5. Now, let's evaluate. Let's practice here. Evaluating is finding a final answer after you plug in the value of x to the function. Okay, for this case here, I'm just doing the odd numbers. Okay, so k of 5, I'm looking for k of 5 given that k of x is x cubed plus 4x. So the meaning of that one, x equal to 5. So every x will be replaced or substituted by 5 in the function. So the 5 goes there, the 5 goes there because there are two x's here. So 5 cubed plus 4 times 5. 5 cubed is 125 plus 20. So k of 5 is equal to 145. The answer is not 145, but k of 5 is equal to 145. So please pay attention to those little things, the detail. Okay? Next here, 3. H of 3 is what you're looking for. H of t is equal to negative 2, absolute value of t. So you will just, you know that the value of t here is equal to 3. So you will just have to plug it there. Negative 2, absolute value of 3. What's the absolute value of 3? The absolute value of 3 is 3. So therefore, h of 3 is equal to negative 6. P of n is equal to n squared minus 4n. Find p of negative 7. You will just have to plug in the negative 7 to the n there. So p of negative 7 is equal to negative 7 squared. Please make sure that when you use calculator, guys, you need to have parentheses if you're squaring a negative base. Okay? Squaring a number, I mean. Minus 4 times negative 7. Why? If you just put there negative 7 squared, it will give you negative 49. That's wrong. The calculator reads it as 7 squared, and whatever your answer, there's a negative weighting. But in reality, in this case, you have a negative 7 squared there. So you're multiplying negative 7 by negative 7 should give you a positive 49. So pay attention to those little things, okay? So this will be 49. Negative 7 times negative 4 is positive 28. That will give you p of negative 7 is 77. Please double check if I'm right. I think I'm right there, right? Can you see it? There you go. G of n. This time, you're evaluating, but you're given an expression. It's not just a number like number 1, 3, and 5. Here, you're going to plug in the x minus 4 to the n. So this will be g of x minus 4 will be 4 times x minus 4 plus 2. What I just did here, I replaced this n here by x minus 4. That will make it, you distribute the 4x minus 16, but there's a 2 waiting outside, so you will combine them. Negative 16 plus 2 is 4x minus 14, so that's your g of x minus 4. Next, the expression here is negative 4n, so this negative 4n will be plugged in there. So k of negative 4n is equal to negative 3, negative 4n minus 1. What's negative 3 times negative 4n? will give you positive 12n minus 1. So that's your k of negative 4n. Now, let's do the operation, okay? The operation of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing for each problem. So I might just do 1 or 2 questions here, okay? All right, for number 11, let's do the f plus g of a. Means say you are adding the function. So the meaning of this one is f of a plus g of a. You're going to add them. So f of a is a minus 1 from here plus 4a minus 1. So when you add them, that will combine the like terms here. A plus 4a will be 5a. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So that is your f plus g of a. Kaboom. Let's do the subtraction. F minus g of a is the same thing as f of a minus g of a. F of a here is going back to number 11. A minus 1 minus 4a minus 1. What's wrong here? Again, every time you have subtraction, don't forget to write the parentheses on the second term. Okay? Or second expression, second function. So you make sure that you have a negative 1 here. You will distribute that negative 1. So a minus 1, negative 1 times 4a is negative 4a. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So a minus 4a is negative 3a. Negative 1 plus 1 cancel out because that will be 0. So therefore, f minus g of a is equal to negative 3a. Again, make sure you copy all of this. And we still have 2 more. Multiplication. F times g of x, that means it's f of x times g of x. So here, if you remember your algebra 1, a minus 1 times 4a minus 1, you can do the FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. First, x times, a times 4a is 4a squared. A times negative 1 is negative a, or negative 1a. Negative 1 times 4a inner will be negative 4a. And last, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So therefore, the final answer here is 4a squared minus 5a plus 1. And that's for the multiplication. Now for division, we need space here. For division, it's very simple, okay? We just have to divide f of g of x, or the meaning of that one is f of x divided by g of x, wherein g of x cannot be equal to 0. The meaning, copy the f of x, which is a minus 1, divided by 4a minus 1, knowing that a cannot be equal to, what's that number? For you to get that one, grab the denominator, which is 4a minus 1, set it equal to 0, solve for the a by adding 1, 4a is equal to 1, divide by 4. So therefore, a there is equal to 1/4. Meaning, a cannot be equal to 1/4. Why do you think a cannot be equal to 1/4? Because a is equal to 1/4, when you plug it here, on this a here, it will give you a 0. If you have a 5/0, if the denominator is 0, the answer will be undefined, and you don't want that to happen. So the answer for f of g, f divided by g of x is a minus 1 divided by, or all over 4a minus 1, given or where a is not equal to 1/4. There you have it. I hope you learned something here. And at this time, please make sure you have finished this all. And it's your turn now to do this portion. Okay? Do not worry, the bottom portion, I'm not requesting you to do all 4 operations for each item. There's specific problem for each item there. If you just get, like in number 11, you're going to subtract only. Number 12, you're going to divide, and so on and so forth. Okay? I hope you're learning. I hope you learned. Kaboom!